What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Vegas 12. Really looking forward to this card. We have Uriah Hall versus Anderson Silva as the main event, Bryce Mitchell, Andre Fili as the co-main event, and actually a pretty solid card overall. We had a really good card last week for UFC 254, and we have another really good card this week, so hopefully keep it rolling here. A couple announcements I need to make. I just want to say congrats to the contest winner, Rich Gee 21. Have not came in contact with you yet, but give me your PayPal, Cash App, whatever. Just comment that down below. I'll get you your winnings there. I'm going to be doing more contests next pay-per-view for UFC 255, so look out for that. Also want to put that I am doing a DraftKings live stream on Pub Sports Radio. It's going to be every Tuesday evening at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I'll drop the link to that in the comments, so go check that out. Going to get a little bit more into detail and just a live stream, kind of an interactive live stream as well. So go check that out. More content for you there. But with that said, we're going to get into the video here. If you guys can, please give this video a like, subscribe if you have not yet. Would appreciate that a ton. Working my way up to 8,000 subs would be sweet to get there in the very near future. So let's get into it here with the fight doesn't go to decision lines. And you'll notice that on this card, there are a lot of fights that are favored to go to decision here. I don't think it's going to be some kind of crazy high-scoring card like it was last week. Last week was insane. We had Khabib score like 99. He wasn't in the optimal lineup. We had other guys score over 100 that weren't in the optimal lineup. So I don't think that's going to be the case this week. I can see a couple fights finishing, but most of these fights probably don't end inside the distance. And what's crazy about that is we are back in the small cage, which does typically lead to more finishes. So something to think about there. But we have Greg Hardy, Maurice Green, minus 285. Fight doesn't go to decision. Heavyweight fight here. The only thing I'm worried about is if Hardy wants to stay on the outside, try to pick Green apart, he can. I think if he wanted to go out there and try to finish Green, I think he could. I think Green's kind of chinny. Greg Hardy does hit hard, and it's a heavyweight fight. So typically you want to play both sides. I guess Green is capable of getting a finish here. If he is able to get it to the mat in some way, I don't see how he does it. But if he does, I think he is live for a submission. But I like Greg Hardy here. We'll talk about it. He's really cheap. Usually we'll see him up in the 9,000s. He's only 8,800. I like that a lot. One of my more favorite tournament plays there. But I think Green's fine at the price he is because it is heavyweight. Both guys are going to be throwing down, but the lean is Hardy there. Next, we have Adrian Yanez versus Victor Rodriguez, and I'll say it right now, Yanez is my favorite play on the slate. We'll get more into it, but I'm going to have a ton of Yanez. I'll have a little bit Rodriguez. I just don't think he's UFC caliber. I think they're bringing in Rodriguez here to get Yanez a win. Next, we got Jacoby versus Ledet, minus 150. Fight doesn't go to decision. I can see this one finishing more on the Jacoby fight, the Jacoby side. Ledet is just not all that impressive. He's very slow. He hits kind of hard, but Jacoby has a really good chin. He's only been knocked out like once in his MMA career. I do lean to the Jacoby side, especially at 8,900. I think he can put up some serious volume. In his Contender Series fight last time, he landed 117 significant strikes. I think he can do something like that here, probably maybe even get a finish. 8,900 is not a bad look. Justin Ledet, not all that interested. And we'll kind of see a pattern here. There's not many live dogs on this card. The pump plays are not great at all, but there are a lot of great mid-range options. So I don't think it's going to be overly hard to make lineups this week. Next, we got Anderson Silva versus Uriah Hall. I am leaning towards the Uriah Hall side. Anderson Silva, 45 years old. Uriah Hall, I think he could get a finish if he really wanted to, but I am kind of worried that he kind of sticks to the outside, just tries to pick apart Anderson Silva in a very boring fight, and that ultimately would not reach the optimal lineup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some Silva, but I'll also have a decent amount of lineups that don't have the main event. And we saw it last week where the main event wasn't on the optimal lineup. I think this one has a decent chance of it not being on the optimal lineup as well. I could see this being a very kind of boring back and forth low volume fight here. Next, we got Marshman versus Sean Strickland here. More so on the Strickland side. I think if Marshman wins, it's probably by a finish. Marshman has finished about 79% of his wins. I just don't think Marshman's all that good. I think Sean Strickland has a pretty easy path to victory. I think he can beat him on the feet. I think he can even take down Jack Marshman down. He has like a 20% takedown defense. I think the lean's going to be Strickland here. Not going to be overly exposed to this fight because in the 9,000 range, I'm all over Yanez. So I'm going to have a little bit of Strickland, maybe some Marshman, I guess, is an okay punt because he is a decent finisher. I just don't really like him to win this fight. I think it's a bad stylistic matchup. Getting to the core plays, Adrian Yanez, 9,200. And I say 9,200, the prices have not came out for him yet, but I'm assuming they're going to put him in that 9,200 slot that is open. And I like him a lot. I like the matchup. I don't think Victor Rodriguez is UFC caliber by any means, and I was just extremely impressed with Adrian Yanez. I do expect him to probably end this inside the distance or just throw a ton of volume. I think he has a lot of upside here at 9,200. Easily my favorite play in the 9,000s. I'm going to have a ton. And it's weird, like in the 9,000s this week, you have Alexander Hernandez, I'm not overly in love with. I think he wins. Sean Strickland, I'm not overly in love with. I do think he wins, though. And then Adrian Yanez here at 9,200 is easily my favorite play on the slate. Uriah Hall, 8,600, a core play of mine. I'm going to have him in a decent amount of lineups. I do think if he wanted to, he can probably come out here and finish the 45-year-old Anderson Silva. Or at least I think he's a safe pick to win here. It's really hard to think that Anderson Silva can come in here and get the win. I know it's his last fight, but I really do favor Hall here. I think he, at this point of their career, is the better fighter by a decent margin here. I think if I was him, I would attack those legs and I would attack them early. It's kind of hard to see Anderson Silva lasting a full 25 minutes. But he's a decent chin here. It's just the durability in general is kind of concerned for Anderson Silva. I'm going to have a decent amount of Hall, but like I said, I'm going to have some lineups that don't have the main event at all. Kevin Holland, 8,200. Yeah, I like Holland a lot here. I'm kind of surprised they lined this at 8,200. I know it doesn't mean anything, but last time Holland was priced at 8,200, he had like 100 and something point performance against Hernandez, I believe, and he went out there and got a quick knockout. And I just think in this fight he has more past the victory. I think he can take this to the mat, maybe find a submission. And I think on the feet it could be close. He's going to have about a 5.5-inch reach advantage. But I still got to give him the advantage pretty much everywhere the fight goes. I am impressed with Muradov, but Holland is a tough matchup for anybody. Just the size, the length of Kevin Holland. He's going to have a 1-inch height advantage as well. I think he has potential to finish this fight also. I want to say Muradov has been finished 3 times. Yeah, he's been finished 3 times. Muradov's been submitted twice, and he's been knocked out once as well. I think if Holland does get this to the mat, he's very live for a submission. I think he could possibly even get a knockout as well. And what I like about Holland is he's someone who's very, very durable. He's never been knocked out. He has been submitted twice. Muradov's not going to come out here and submit him or nothing, but I do like Kevin Holland. I like him at that price. I'm really surprised we're getting him at 8,200 here. Courtney Casey, 8,700. Yeah, I know it's women's MMA and everything, but I really, really like her in this matchup. I think the line should be a lot wider here. Priscilla Cachoeira is somebody who absorbs 7.93 significant strikes per minute, only lands 3.84. She gets hit a ton. She plays defense with her face. They call her a zombie girl for a reason. She is a zombie in there. She just takes punishment for minutes at a time. I know she got that nice finish on Shanna Dobbs in her last fight, but Courtney Casey is someone who's never been knocked out. I actually am picking Courtney Casey to win here by a finish. I think she can submit Priscilla Cachoeira. Beating is what I was trying to say. Priscilla Cachoeira here. I think she can even pull guard, as we've seen in some of Casey's fights, and she can probably get a submission here. Carolina, that Carolina fighter, I forgot her first name, Luana Carolina, I believe it is. She almost submitted Cachoeira like a couple times. I think Courtney Casey actually has some pretty good BJJ, a really good ground game there. She's finished 44% of her wins by submission. She's finished 33% by knockout, and Casey has a 77% finish rate. And even if she doesn't get the finish, I think that she can rack up a ton of volume just based off of Cachoeira not playing any defense at all. So give me Casey here. I love the price. I think there's finishing upside. Casey has finished 7 of her 9 wins in the first round, believe it or not. So I think she's a really good play. Hopefully low ownership because it's women's MMA. But I really like Casey there at that price. Getting into our GPP plays here, our tournament plays, we have Greg Hardy, 8,800. Like I said earlier, I'm kind of surprised at this price, and it has a lot of upside. He throws decent volume, just under 5 significant strikes landed per minute. He has, pretty good power. He's finished every single one of his wins, I believe, besides one. I know he had a decision win against, I believe it was Ben Sassoli that got overturned as well. And the only thing I'm worried about is if he goes out there and, tries to stay on the outside, pick apart Green for 15 minutes, then of course he won't score well. But if he comes in here looking for the finish, I really do think he can get it. Maurice Green is someone who is, his durability is very questionable. We saw him knocked out before. He got dropped his last fight against Jean Vellante. Ended up getting that weird submission. I was just watching that earlier. I can't believe he pulled off the submission from his back in that position. I forget what they even called that submission. It was very weird, but Green, if he does get this on the mat, yeah, I think he could find a sub. It's just really hard to see him getting it there. His wrestling's not great, and Hardy seems to have some really solid takedown defense. I actually don't even think Green has landed a takedown in the UFC as well, so something to think about there. So, yeah, Greg Hardy here. Greg Hardy all day. Can Maurice Green land a hard shot and put Hardy out? Maybe. I don't think it's all that likely, but then again, it is heavyweight. Bryce Mitchell, 8,500. Very, very intriguing fight here. And it's a hard fight to call. I mean, I think Andre Fili is the better fighter. I think Mitchell, if he can get this on the mat, I think he has a big advantage. It's just watching tape on Fili, he actually has pretty solid takedown defense. He hasn't been taken down in a while. And I don't know if Mitchell has the wrestling to get him down. Also heard an interview with Andre Fili where he said that he's probably going to test the ground game of Bryce Mitchell. If he does that, Mitchell's probably going to get a submission. Mitchell is a black belt in BJJ. He is an absolute wizard on the mat. He is fantastic. He can get submissions from pretty much anywhere he is, from his back, on top, from the side, anywhere. Very opportunistic grappler. So, yeah, if this goes to the mat, Mitchell's probably going to find a sub. And Fili has been submitted before, I believe twice. Twice, but the last time he was submitted was like in 2009, something crazy like that. But, yeah, it's going to be a really good fight. I think if Mitchell can't get it down, he's going to be in a world of trouble. But if he does get it down, I think the submission's live. Jason Witt, 8,300. Very interesting fight here. I do think he's the much better fighter. But both of these guys, when they've lost, they've never lost by decision. So that's what makes this fight really intriguing. And this fight's going to have extremely low ownership as well, which again makes it very intriguing. And Jason Witt, I mean, he got knocked out his last fight. And I think there's going to be a lot of game log watchers that come in here and see, oh, Jason Witt, he scored 1 point last time. Cole Williams, he scored 1 point last time. And they're going to try to fade this fight. I think this is a very important, low-owned fight. I think Witt, he's better pretty much everywhere outside of the durability. I don't think Williams is good at all. But I think Witt can come out here and get takedowns. Williams has pretty poor takedown defense. I think Witt can even find a submission. We saw Cole Williams get submitted by Claudia Silva very easily. And I know that's Claudia Silva, but Witt has a pretty solid submission game himself, really good at taking the back. So yeah, Jason Witt is somebody I'm really looking at 8,300. And last one here, Dustin Jacoby, 8,900. Saw him on the Contender Series. Like I said, he landed like 117 significant strikes. So he can't put on that pace, put on that volume. Decent finisher as well. Has that kickboxing background. I don't hate Jacoby at 8,900. He has a finish rate of 75%. Finishing 75% of his wins there. I don't think is a bad option at that $8,900 price range. I think he could, if he goes to decision, probably hit value with volume alone, but I do think there is finish upside as well. We have seen Justin Ledet knocked out. Getting into the live dogs here, Andre Fili, if he's able to stuff those takedowns, he's going to have a day. He's going to have a day on the feet. I think he's the much better striker. I think he's fought the much better competition. This is a huge step up for Bryce Mitchell, and it's not even close. And like I said, Andre Fili did show some really solid takedown defense that I saw on tape. He has really good wrestling himself. I don't recommend he uses that wrestling on Mitchell here. Maybe he wants to test his ground game. Like I said, not a good idea, but he does have some really, really good wrestling. But on the feet, I got to favor him. So if he stuffs these takedowns, I think he'd be a very good live dog here. Kevin Natividad at 7,800. I actually like him to win this fight. I believe it's either the first fight of the night or one of the first fights early in the card here. And Natividad, watching tape, I was looking for, does this guy have good takedown defense? Does he have a good get-up game? And he really does. He has a really good takedown defense. I saw him taken down a couple times, but when he was able to work his way up to his feet right away. I even saw him work his way up to his feet and take the back of his opponent right away. Just very impressive. And on the feet, I honestly favor Natividad as with the striking. I think he's going to throw more volume. Miles Johns is very low volume. Miles Johns isn't really technical. He throws these big looping punches, and they have some power, but Natividad has shown a very good chin. And Miles Johns is someone who really frustrated me his last fight against Mario Batista. I actually picked Johns to win that fight. And I was expecting him to go out there and wrestle and get Batista down. I thought it was an easy path to victory. But he stood and banged with Batista for the whole fight up until he got knocked out. So if he's going to come out here and strike with Natividad for 15 minutes, I got to favor Natividad ever so slightly in the striking. I know Johns has improved his striking, and if Johns does go to that wrestling, I do think Natividad has the takedown defense and the get up game to get up, and that's only going to get Miles Johns even more tired, and Miles Johns is somebody that slows down as the fight goes on. Kevin Natividad does not. So I like Kevin Natividad at 7,800 there. Cole Williams, 7,900. I don't think he's a great fighter. I don't think he should be in the UFC. 36 years old, but this is more so a fade on Jason Witt's chin. Jason Witt has been finished in every single one of his losses, all 6. He's been knocked out 4 times. He's been submitted twice. I don't see Williams submitting him or nothing, but yeah, Williams does come out here. He's not really technical. He does throw pretty hard. If he does land on Witt's chin, he could knock him out, and very low ownership. So I will target this fight. I don't think Williams is good whatsoever, but Witt his durability is very, very questionable. Maurice Green, 7,400, touched on it a little bit. Heavyweight fight. Yeah, he can maybe land a shot on Greg Hardy, put him out. I don't think it's all that likely. Maybe this fight ends up on the mat somehow. I don't see that happening as well, but if it does, he's live for a submission. Was able to get that nice submission his last fight. But yeah, I like Hardy here, but this is heavyweight. Weirder things have happened here. I think Green's live in a way, but I'm not too confident in that. Getting into the pump plays here, Thiago Moises, 7,200. I mean, it's really hard to trust a guy like Bobby Green. I'm not all that impressed with Moises, especially on the feet. Green's going to have a massive advantage. It's not even going to be close, but Green has been taken down in 6 of his last 7 fights. If Moises is able to take this to the mat, I think Green has pretty solid takedown defense. I think Green has pretty solid submission defense. Green has been submitted, I believe, 2 times before in his career, or once, I believe. So, but that was a long time ago. I don't know if Moises is going to be able to submit him, but if he does get this to the mat, I don't know. You never know. Maybe he could find a submission because he is very, very legit on the mat. He's finished 46% of his wins by submission as well. And I don't know. Green's somebody you really can't trust. Although Green has been on a tear, winning his last 3. I'll have a little bit of Moises because of that submission threat, but I really do like Bobby Green to get the win here. And then lastly, I do want to touch on a fade, Bobby Green at 9,000. Just not a guy that's really going to win inside the distance here. And Bobby Green has won only 30% of his wins by knockout. I mean, does he knock out Moises? I don't think so. Moises has never been knocked out. Bobby Green's more of a submission guy. He's going to have to put on a huge pace to go out there and hit value at 9,000. And there's just other options I like around that 9,000 range. I don't really see a reason to play Bobby Green if he's going to come out there and strictly strike with Moises for 15 minutes. I don't really see how he hits value at 9,000. Maybe he lands 100 strikes, scores 80 points. He's not going to go out there and go for takedowns. At least you think he wouldn't. But yeah, Green should win, but I don't see him scoring overly well. All right, guys, that's about it. You can become a member of my Patreon and receive full access to my model with all the stats for each fight. My premium projections, GPP lineup percentages, my Draftkings article, which will be out sometime Friday, early Saturday morning. Access to Discord as well. We have almost 200 members on Patreon now, and at any time is really a good time to sign up. The prices are very, very affordable on there, so the link will be in the description. If not, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you have not yet, and also check out my the new Draftkings show on Pub Sports Radio. It's going to be on Tuesday evenings at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Go check that out. I'll put the link somewhere in the description below. So that's about it, guys, and good luck. It's going to be a really good card, and let's make some money here.